And welcome back. This is K24 this morning. I'm with Mr. Japheth Atundo and Joseph Karuba talking about alternative farming, beekeeping and honey. Well, I rather beekeeping and rabbits, sorry. And this is the question we asked you earlier on. Kindly let us know, in what ways can we make alternative farming sustainable? You at home, what are you doing to make sure that that small space or even big space you have, are you making it sustainable in any way? Well, let's look at what you're saying on WhatsApp. Hi, I am Sheila from Tarakaniti. I had 24 rabbits. I gave them wet grass and within 3 hours I had 3 rabbits. Is it true rabbits can't feed wet grass? Oh, pole sana Sheila. Morning movie, George from Nakuru. I had started rabbit farming, but along the way it collapsed. The bunnies started dying at an alarming rate. I only have 4 at the moment. What's the best care advice for bunnies rearing? Thank you very much, George, and Paul Sana for your loss. Hi, I am Pat from Nyeri. I do rear rabbits, but every time they give birth, the babies die. Why? Wow. Wait, Poleni Sana. We also have, last week, I happened to have lost a female rabbit, and guess the reason for this was that it had diarrhea. What would be the most suitable greens to feed my rabbits? Okay, thank you for your question. So before we continue discussing about the chinchillas and the white, everyone there is talking about their rabbits having died. What could have been the problem? One said that she fed them, wet grass. 3 hours later, they were dead. Another one is saying that her rabbits keep on dying after birth. So what's the best way to take care of rabbits? And the one for diarrhea as well. Were they sick?
Rabbits have got an attribute that we are supposed to know, psychological and otherwise, that we are supposed to know when you are rearing rabbits so that you can rear them in conditions that are suitable for themselves. Capacity building on rabbit keeping is very important. You cannot just rear rabbits the way you want without seeking knowledge from those who know about rabbits. Starting with, in rabbits we have good mothers and bad mothers.
Oh, I didn't know.
Good mothers and bad mothers. A good mother is that mother who is able to carry out maternal responsibilities without human help. When she gives birth, she plucks the fur, she makes a nest, a lining, she covers the kids, and then she
plucks her own fur.
To make a lining for the...
Like a bed for the babies.
For the babies. And then she will occasionally go into the nesting box, because something called a nesting box, to breastfeed the young ones. A bad mother will not do that, and she will need human assistance. You cannot just assume that she will go inside the nest box and feed or breastfeed the kids. So most likely those kids died because of hunger. They were not breastfed.
Okay.
Rabbits, again, at younger stages have got a weak digestive system. They cannot be able to eat the same food their mother is eating. In the event that you feed your rabbits without doing proper managerial practices on the mother's feed, they are likely to die. There's a farmer who talked about grass. It is not only grass, the feed for rabbits. Rabbits will be supplemented with the rabbit pellets. Grass will not have the enough nutrients that requires a rabbit. So at that time, I can answer my farmer that there's a possibility there was failure to digest, maybe bloat, that affected the rabbits, which made the rabbits die. I would advise them at 3 weeks, because that is the time the rabbit will start eating the mother's feed.
Yes.
It's good for you to give them multivitamins.
Okay.
And sometimes...
which you can get at a vet?
Of course, you go to the vet.
Okay.
And again, most importantly, seek advice from people who are rearing rabbits. Not only that, rabbits have got diseases, even the big ones. Anything that God created has diseases. So you must find a way of treating those diseases and, if possible, preventing them. Some rabbits are kept in very poor conditions. The environment, the houses, you'll find them very dirty. People have made mattresses of the droppings. A rabbit sleeps on her own droppings for over 1 year, and you'll find that is a very good media for bacteria and fungus, as you say. So cleanliness is very important. doing the cages the right way is very important. We have reached a place where now we are doing almost self-cleaning cages.
Yes.
Yeah, so that there is no way your rabbit will be in contact with either droppings or the urine. That urine, if not collected, it can give an odor. And you'll find even your rabbit sometimes sneezing. Okay. So to answer those farmers and any other some more questions that have not yet come, getting the right practices and getting the right knowledge on rabbit is very important, even before.
You've mentioned that a bad mother will not breastfeed the young one.
Yes.
So what do you do in the case whereby kamezaliwa sahi sasa na kanyonyeshwi?
Now that is where we are coming in and we tell you to caress her and then make her lie on the mat, and then you will direct the kids
babies, yes,
towards the teats.
Okay.
They can suckle 3 to 5 minutes, 3 times in a day for 10 days. Okay. After 10 days, your rabbits will be very big. Rabbits have got the highest conversion ratio. Within a short time, they are big. They are big enough even to follow their mother and breastfeed kwa lazima.
In a case where the mother dies?
We do fostering.
Okay.
I advise, we carry out trainings and we advise farmers that even at the time of serving those rabbits, you serve a number of rabbits at a go. So that by the time she's giving birth, she can die.
Okay.
Okay? Some rabbits will give birth even to 14 or 16 kids, and they have 8 teats. So she can comfortably take care of
8.
A maximum of 10.
Okay.
Anything in more than 10 is in excess.
Yeah.
So what we do is that we do fostering. You are able to lend these kids to another mother who has a lesser,
to like a stepmother.
A stepmother who has a lesser litter. Yeah.
Okay.
Who has a lesser litter.
Okay.
But it's very important. We may not be able to do the training on the show, but it's important that these farmers seek guidance and information from people who know about rabbits.
All right, hold on. We'll get back to more on rabbit farming. Do bees get sick? Do they start sneezing?
Good question. Mostly we have we have other pests, insect pests that affect bees. We have beetles. We have we have one called Varroa mite.
Wait, did you say mosquitoes?
Beetles. They will affect not the bees directly, but they will affect you as a farmer, because now they will become a nuisance to the hive, and then bees are not able to produce. But one I'll mention is the Varroa mite, which is very common. That's a mite that would cling on their wings, and has affected bees, and especially in Europe, in America, in Asia. However, there is a discussion around the Varroa mite in Africa, because African bees, those are zebus. If I have to liken them with the livestock.
Okay, with cows.
Yes. So they are very hardy. They are very aggressive. They are not because you don't experience winter, so they are mostly very aggressive during the day. Okay. But in areas that we have winters, those different seasons, you realize because the bees have to remain inside the hive, they are affected by Varroa mite. Okay. So there is a discussion, a national discussion, about whether we should treat Varroa mite or our bees are able to suppress the effect of Varroa mite in Africa.
So they do get attacked or rather infected or affected by the mite. It's just that haiwasumbui sana. Okay. In fact, some of these there's also a discussion that some of the hives with the Varroa mite tend to produce even better, because bees are not they are disturbed inside the hive. So most of the time they prefer moving for any trip available, so that they don't have an interaction with the Varroa mite inside the hive. Okay. So that's the discussion that is there. But of course, bees have got other pests. Safariant is one of it's a menace also. And the way we set up our apiary, we will help you now understand how to control Safariant from how to prevent. So the Safariant gets onto the hives and then they what? Eat them, fight them?
They colonize the colony. And then, of course, the colony will have to leave. And, of course, by the time bees leave the hive, they will have to carry the honey with them, so it's left empty. And, of course, losing a colony is one of the sad moments for a beekeeper.
Okay. We'll still talk about the challenges. I understand there's a question on WhatsApp as far as bee farming is concerned. Let's take a look. All right. Hey there, I am Jane, a bee taxonomist. Apart from apiculture, have you tried meliponiculture? Hey, that is stingless beekeeping. People have fear for keeping stinging bees. How can we go about that? Thank you very much, Jane, the taxonomist. So hiyo ameita meliponiculture. Eish. Yeah, keeping stingless bees. Is that a thing, first of all?
First of all, I would like to clear some question I've had. And especially people who have had an opportunity to travel abroad. They see people there harvesting without protective gear. They see people there handling bees without the protective gear.
Right.
And they think that those bees are stingless. And they come and say whether they can practice that. There is the honeybee, which is the stinging bee. And it's more of a commercial bee. Then we have a very small bees, which I think in your community, because they are good in beekeeping, they call it giru. Very small bees.
It's called after our governor in Kitui County. You mean Angilu?
Yes.
Okay. Angilu is almost called after it. But anyway, yes.
Yeah, those are the stingless. They are very small. Of course, if you want to do it, it's also a lucrative business.
Okay.
And of course, even
like
the honey,
they literally have no sting.
they just irritate.
Okay.
They get into your eyes and you get irritated, but they will not sting.
Okay.
So they get into your hairs and such. So, but for you to do it as a business,
yes,
you could need quite a number of hives. And of course, the size of the hive, they are very small, say 6 inches by 4 inches.
All right.
So that
as opposed to what the usual hive has.
Yes,
how big is it?
Which is 45 centimeters by around 35 centimeters.
Yeah, that's quite large.
Yeah, so depending with the size. And of course, a whole year, a stingless hive will give you a kg of honey, which is retaining at around 1,500 shillings. So you can only do it in big number. If you have 100 of stingless hives, then you are in business. But if you do 10, 5, it might not be. It might not.
So then, how do you attract the stingless versus the? Because maybe this person just wants to keep them for her own family consumption. Maybe ni yeye bibi bwana yake sorry na watoto wawili.
For normal honeybees, then our hives is fitted with natural wax, which is a bait, and they produce a scent that will attract the bees.
Okay.
And then they will come from the combs and put the honey and start the production. For stingless bees, you have to literally guide them into your hive if you want to domesticate them. Because in most cases, you'll get them under the rocks. They burrow in some of the grills, the house grills, or some tree trunks. That's where they burrow. Okay. So you have to find a way of now directing them into the small hives for them to make some economic sense, if you want to domesticate them. Yeah.
So those ones are the ones that you're saying that mostly in Europe, places where they have winter, they have more, majority of that.
In Europe, they have the normal honeybee.
Oh, okay.
But there, they are not very aggressive. You have to really irritate them for them to sting.
No wonder Africa ndio tulianzanga ujinga, huku ndio tunakuanga very aggressive. But anyway.
Yeah. So here, bees here, they will have to voluntarily give their sting, whether as long as you irritate them. But there, by the time they sting you, they will definitely, you'll have to irritate them much.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So people confuse the Europe bees with the normal African bees, and when they go there, they see people harvesting without the protective gear. They think that they can do it here, which is not possible.
Okay.
African bee, actually here, even you go to places like Europe, they refer to African bees as killer bees because they sting, and then you sometimes you have. You are allergic, you swell, you have difficulties in breathing, then you die.
It's called anaphylactic stress. But anyway, let's take a look at WhatsApp as we continue the conversation. Good morning, Movie. Kindly ask this question to your guests. How's deworming done in rabbits? Thank you very much. Morning. It is Stanley from Dagoretti. Number 1, after how long does one get the returns after investing in rabbit farming? And number 2, what is the estimated cost of production for the given period of time? Is it a sustainable business? Thank you very much, Stanley. Anyone else? All right. Movie, what species is this one, please? Jafethini again.
Checkered.
Checkered.
Checkered Rex.
All right.
Very good for skin.
Okay. Kuna mtu anasema mimi na nyuki hatuwezani. Hi Mbuvi, ask the guy from Nyuki Hub how much a hive goes for. Okay. Thank you very much. Kuna mtu amesema yeye na nyuki different planets. We, unauliza stories za nyuki and how much a hive costs. We'll talk about that shortly. Now, for people who are asking about rearing the rabbits, which are the best ones for meat? Which are the best ones for fur?
First, let me answer the other question on deworming. Yeah, just like in human being, you will deworm rabbits after every 3 months. We alternate with there's a drug called leverside. It is liquid form, and because those worms can get used to the drug, we advise farmers to be alternating after every 3 months with another one called Ascarex. So Ascarex and leversides are good for deworming. They are the best for deworming rabbits.
Okay.
If you don't deworm your rabbits, you'll find they are having a lot of loose fur. Yeah, every time you walk into the cage, you find a lot of loose fur.
Zinashikwa na mashilingi.
Zinashikwa na okay, ile manyoya kutoka toka. They are never firm, and it will even affect the pelt. We call it the pelt. Others will call it skin. Especially, it will be a hinder to value addition on the pet. Rabbit business is very sustainable. Yeah, you just need to set it up very well. You will of course incur some cost, like any other business. You plan for capital for it.
Yes.
But because of the multiplication effect of the rabbits, you know, they are rabbits the way God created them. They can be able to give birth. They are able to give birth every month.
Okay.
Because they have a gestative period of 28 days. From a technical side, we don't allow that, because your rabbits will start giving birth to kids with wrong body formalities and very weak, and the immune system will also go down.
Okay.
So we allow your rabbits to give birth twice, or once in 2 months, 5 times or 6 times in a year.
Okay.
While they are giving birth a litter that is not less than 6. A litter that is not less than 6. So when you do your mathematics, you'll find that depending on the number of mother rabbits, because the capacity of any rabbit farmer is determined by the mother rabbits on the farm.
Okay.
Yeah, the breeding ratio, of course, is 1 to 10. For every 10 females, you get 1 buck. Every 10 doe, you get 1 buck. So when you get into production and you start selling, because rabbits again mature after 5 months to 6 months. So as
after say that the period, the 5 months or the 6 months, they're ready for meat or fur,
or even for service.
Okay.
They can be able to be used as breeders. So there's a dry period between the time you are starting the project and the time you are selling your rabbits for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, we assist farmers to develop a product that suits them, depending on their cash. Yeah, if somebody is having, let's say, 150K, we can do 10 mother rabbits. Yeah, anything more than that, the better.
So with 150K, what do I have? I have 10 mother rabbits.
And 10 mother rabbits, and you're able to feed the rabbits.
Okay.
And when I talk about feeding the rabbits, I don't mean only the mother stock or the parent stock. I mean feeding rabbits with their 2 generations, because by the time we are buying the first generation, we have some 2 other generations on the farm.
Okay.
It's advisable for you to do construction, and when you are doing the construction, you do extra cages, because the mother will give birth and give birth again when the first generation is not ready for the market. So it can raise slightly the capital investment.
Okay.
Yeah, but again, after 12 months, 13 months, you are able to have recovered your investments.
Stanley, I believe, asked if it's a sustainable business.
It is sustainable.
Does it have market? Yes.
Yeah, it is sustainable business. Now, talking about markets, rabbit market has been there. We have failed to tap into the rabbit market. The requirement in rabbit market is very simple, that you do production. Some of the outlets, even locally, that we are talking about, have one served rabbit meat, but they failed and stopped because we didn't have volumes and consistencies that they required.
Okay.
So failure to produce rabbit leads to failure to attract a market. So we plow back. We are starting from behind. by multiplying the rabbits. Today we are doing what we call a multiplication center, and we're moving across the country
Yes.
to set up what we are calling rabbit multiplication centers.
Okay.
Once we set the rabbit multiplication centers, we also set up clusters in specific regions, so that when we have optimum production, we'll be able to allocate a particular market to a certain cluster of rabbit keepers. Today, even locally, we are working again with the people from the ministry, people from the veterinary, and the government at large on matters rabbits. And you will find that we are having a deficit of around 195,000 metric tons of rabbit meat in the country.
Where?
We need to produce 195,000 metric tons of rabbit meat to feed our own people.
That is basically 195 million kilograms.
Around. It's almost 195 or even 200 million kgs of rabbit meat.
Okay.
It's not an easy task. And while we are talking about local markets, there is an awaiting export market that we will not be able to even talk about it today, because they are, whenever they commission you to supply that rabbit meat,
Yes.
they will want you to do not less than 20 metric tons every week.
Yes.
20 metric tons translates to slaughtering a 4-kilo rabbit, 10,000 of them every week.
Yes.
Because again, rabbits lose 50% of their weight upon slaughter.
So,
depending on how the direction you are coming from, I'm telling farmers that for us to be able to attract even better markets, because today where we are selling in what we call inferior markets.
Okay.
We are selling inferior markets locally because we don't have the capacity to supply superior markets locally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where? Bee farming, in terms of competition from outside as well, do we have any, because for a very long time we had, honey coming from Asian countries, which was substandard, especially from areas such as China and Singapore. Is that still a challenge? Hapa tuko sustainable?
We are far from meeting our own demand here, but it's sad that the industry we have also allowed the influx of honey from even neighboring countries, which in most cases is low quality, and in most of the shelves that you go, you get that honey. Yes. That has both effect on the farmers, the local farmers, and discourage them, because it comes with, it's cheap, the one that is imported, despite the fact it's also low quality. Right. So it's very cheap, and most of the traders, because they are not beekeepers, they have no knowledge about beekeeping. They are working on it as traders, businessmen who can work in some of the neighboring countries, get honey, bring it to Kenya, package, and they can even call it Kitui honey, for example. They call it Baringo honey.
And yet it's not even from Kenya.
It's not from Kenya. And that's the challenge we have. But us as Nyuki Hub, what we are doing is that we want to work aloud as a supply base, a strong supply base, working on contract farming with some farmers in different areas, so that they are assured of us a market. And they also know that this is the much that I need to be paid per every kilo of honey. You'll be surprised some of the honey that are coming from the neighboring countries. By the time you buy them from Nairobi, it's around 400 shillings per kilo. Yet, we as Nyuki Hub, we are buying the same 400 shillings or 500 shillings from the farmers. So we can't, that competition, there's no balance or a level ground for competition as business people. Okay. So, but for sure, we really need, we are far from meeting the demand of honey with over 45%. Yes. Less or deficit of honey that we need to produce within our boundaries.
So just like with rabbits, we have different kinds of honey. I can see here we have different shades of honey. Maybe just take us through in a minute to help us understand what kind of honey this is and where it's coming from, and maybe why it has, like this one is lighter than this one, and so on and so forth.
Honey from different, the plant themselves, the nectar source determine the color, the nectar and the soil, for example, determine the color of the honey, the taste, the viscosity. For example, if you go to Tharaka, the Tharaka towards the lower side of Tharaka as you approach Kitui,
yes,
it's very dark. You get dark honey. And then the one from Savo,
yes,
it's darker. It's slightly darker than Makueni and Baringo. But I also like to mention something about the honey from Savo,
yes,
and because it has been also a conversation that honey from the size of plant. If you get the nectar, if the bees are collecting the nectar from the size of plant,
yes,
you realize that that honey has a strange or not a very pleasant smell.
Okay.
But it's sweet and it's also highly medicinal.
Okay.
So, but if you get it from the shelf and you realize it has that unpleasant smell, you may think that it's rotten, and you start saying, no, those guys, they are selling garbage. When you go to Makueni, it's golden, it's sweet. Mostly you get fruits. There are some fruits. There is acacia also, giving you that lighter color. If you happen to do like what we call the cultivation apiculture, like
yes,
you plant sunflower specifically for your bees, you realize the color of the honey that you get from the sunflower plantation. If it was a monoflora, we call it a monoflora honey. If you are able to manage your bees within a certain region that is dominated by a certain crop, say sunflower, you realize it will have a different characteristic from
so depending on
one.
where your location is and the kind of environment it is, you get different honey.
You get different honey.
I can see this conversation is not ending anytime soon. So how can guys get to you if they want to reach out and probably talk about how they can invest that 160,000 and maybe even buy this honey? How can they reach you?
Nyuki Hubs, we are located along Wayakiwe, just opposite Safaricom.
Okay.
There is a compound called the All African Churches of Conference. So inside that compound is where we are as the head office. We have also established what we call the honey hubs. We have 4 regional honey hubs. One is in Taita Taveta, that is in Moatate, where farmers can bring the honey, we process, we package, and we have an office there where people can also visit.
Okay.
We have one in Narok, we have one in Tharaka Nithi,
okay,
and Makueni.
Okay.
Also,
is there a telephone number?
Yes, there is a telephone number. They can reach us on 0748 200 605. That is the official line. We are also on Facebook as Nyuki Hubs Kenya Limited. We will visit our website www.nyukihubs.co.ke.
All right. Mr. Tundo, how can we reach you?
Facebook, Rabbit Empire Limited. YouTube, Rabbit Farm Empire Limited.
Okay. All right.
Our number is 0726 889 862. 0726 889 862. Mostly we have our offices on any multiplication center that we set up, so we will direct the farmers where to get us in the within the proximity of those farmers.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Unfortunately, that is the time that we had, but thank you very much. In case you need to get in touch with them, let us know. This is where we say kwaheri, but do not go too far. Still more on K24. Daily Brief is up next.